be making a project that I would like to call it Here, There, and Everywhere. So before we begin, just as a reminder, we're going to be going to PIXLR.com for our photo editing, and we're always going to click on PIXLR E for editor. So this is the example that I wanted to show you before we start. So what I did was I looked up a landscape photo of like a nature trail, and then I looked up a full body shot of Danny DeVito, and you know, you can use anybody for this project. And I imported him in, I cut and paste, and then I did that multiple times, and with each one I kind of resize it so this way it would fit into the background. So I have Danny DeVito here and in the tree, and coming out from this tree, and you know, really close up on this frame, and then really far back. So we're going to get started. It's a fairly easy project, but it's just a lot of repetitive steps where it's just selection, copy, paste multiple times. So let's get started with this. So I have a nature trail photo already pre-picked out. So I'm going to be copying that photo by right clicking on it and clicking copy image address. And then I'm going to go back to PIXLR, and I'm just going to go straight from, let's just do it from the beginning. So this way it looks like what you might be using. So PIXLR E, and then you're going to click on load URL and paste, right click and paste into that dialog box and click on load. Okay, so we got that. Now what the next step that we're going to do is we're going to open another photo. So we are going to go to file, we're going to go open image URL from here, and we got to paste that image address into there, which I have not gotten yet. So let's go and find that. So I looked up a full body shot of Dr. Phil. It doesn't have to be quite full body. It could be like half or 3/4, but try to get something kind of close to that. So let's right click on that image and copy image address and go back to PIXLR editor, and we're going to paste it, right click and paste into there and click load. It's going to ask you for HD or original. It doesn't really matter. So we'll just go with HD and click apply. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our lasso selection tool again, and or you could use the magnetic tool. But just kind of keep in mind with the magnetic tool is that it doesn't always work very well. So you have to be very careful when you do the selection, and all you do is just kind of outline the person. Magnetic lasso tool works really well with neutral backgrounds that don't have a lot of stuff in the back. So just as a heads up. It's working well right here. But I wouldn't recommend it if you're using a photo with a lot of things going on in the background. It may not be the best tool to use. It might be a little bit frustrating. So for this tool, I'm just holding it down, and I'm holding the mouse down, and I'm just dragging my mouse over Dr. Phil like that. Okay. And it's supposed to make a selection, but it's not. And see what's going on right there? Very frustrating. There you go. Now I have all this extra stuff on there, but I can always take care of it later. So I'm going to do what I usually do, which is do Command C for copy, and then go over here and do Command V, it's a Victor, to paste. And there you go. Okay. If you just want to use the lasso tool, then you would just use the free lasso that's like all the way to the left option, and just do the circle and then use the eraser later. So we could do that too, just to show you, like that. Copy. We're going to go to the next tab over and then paste, and there he is. So every time I do that, it puts Dr. Phil on a new layer on the and what I mean is that every time you make a selection, you start adding it in the layers window. You have Dr. Phil. You have the original Dr. Phil that's on here, and then the second one, he's on there too. So you have them both on there, but they're not part of the photo. They're just in a different like realm almost, and it's hard to explain. But as we start working with more projects, you'll see how that works. So if I want to resize the original one, then I would have that one highlighted, and it's the top one, and then I go and I resize it. But just to avoid confusion, I'm going to delete one of these so we have the original one. Okay, so we have Dr. Phil right there, and we're going to resize him really quick so he looks like he's part of the photo. Free transform. Whoops, that is not the layer I'm working on, where I want to work on. Yes. This is what I mean, is that you have your background layer and then you have your top layer. So you have to make sure that that top layer is highlighted in green. Otherwise, when you do the resizing or anything, that's what I mean. It's like I'm working on the wrong layer. That's exactly what that is. So, whoops, there we go. So I'm going to resize Dr. Phil so he fits better into this photo, and then I'm going to zoom back in. Accept the changes, of course. And there you go. Now, because I used that magnetic lasso tool and it didn't really quite make a good selection, I have to take the eraser and erase some of that excess part right here. If I use the other Dr. Phil, then I would have to do that before I start resizing anything. So that's why I got rid of him, because I didn't want to work with that one. I want to work with this one, this guy right here. Okay, so now I got Dr. Phil onto the photo, and let's back up a little bit so we can see some of the space that we're working with. Okay, there we go. And if I want to move Dr. Phil, I just have to click on this arrow at the top, and then I can move him different places. And if I want to resize him, then I do the free transform and resize him. And like, let's just say I want him, let's put him back here. So I'm going to resize him again, so he looks like he's proportionately belongs to the forest. It may not look quite right, but trust me, we'll put him somewhere where he is right there. Okay, click yes. Okay, so now that I have him there, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to these three dots right here on the layers window. I'm gonna click on those, and from there this window pops up, and I'm going to hit duplicate layer. So what it's going to do is going to make a copy of the same layer. And you won't see it. You'll see two layers right here. You see the copy and then the original in the background. So when you move that layer, the top layer, the copy, you move it over, you see that you have a duplicate. And then you could always resize it again So this way you have another Dr. Phil. Look at that. All right. So now we have another Dr. Phil that we are resizing. It's very pixelated, but he is there. Okay. So we got that one. And then we're going to do it again. We're going to make a copy. And we're going to use that move tool. And we're going to resize him a couple times. Like, let's just say you want him popping out of the frame, right? Like maybe on the side here. You could take your mouse, you hover that over the circle, and then hold down and then drag over Dr. Phil. And then move him right out of the frame, and then you know he's out of the frame. Like that. Dr. Phil. Right there. All right. Okay. So let's do two more times because I want to have at least 5 of them there. So, duplicate layer. I'm going to use that arrow tool, and we're going to bring over Dr. Phil, and I'm trying to think where else we could put him. Dr. Phil, where are we going to put him? Let's make him smaller. Let's just say we want to actually, I wanted to show one more thing, is we want to invert Dr. Phil. So let's do that. Let's click right here to rotate right. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Let's do Control Z. Let's do this way. Yeah, there we go. So right here, you could flip horizontally. So this way he looks like he's going in a different direction, right? So we're going to resize him and then put him somewhere else. Put him like that right here. So they're both looking at each other. They're going, what? What? I'm Dr. Phil. No, I am. Okay. Let's do it again one more time. And I know what we're going to do. Okay, so let's kick this up a notch right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on this layer, I'm going to erase half of Dr. Phil. I'm going to take the eraser tool and do that. And the beautiful thing about using layers is that when you're working on one layer, the other layers don't get affected. So I could use the eraser tool and not erase him. Like, see, oh my goodness, he doesn't get affected, okay? But this one does because it's highlighted. So I want to erase Dr. Phil all the way up to here-ish, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to take my move tool. I'm going to drag Dr. Phil over here and then resize it. Make it look like he's coming out of that puddle right there. Oh my goodness. Or just out of the ground, whatever. Whatever you want to interpret that. There you go. There he is. Okay, and then press enter. Or just click on the side there. Get rid of the frame. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Dr. Phils in this landscape photo. So here and there and everywhere, everybody. Okay, so if you have questions, of course, email me at excuse me, at erica.rosser@desertsands.us, or you can email me at 123photoskills at gmail.com. Those are both my email addresses, and there you go. And make some creative work, okay? And stay tuned for